Hey, I just wanted to talk with y'all today about something that just hit me earlier about grief. That even though I know a lot about grief, both personally and professionally, it took me by surprise. And I wanted to share that with y'all. If you don't know me, my name is Shoshana Bush. I am a trauma informed grief coach, chaplain, and Christian speaker. Today, I was driving back after going to the gym this morning, and I had received an email from an attorney. My dad passed away at the beginning of March, and we're in the middle of that probate estate process. And so at this point, I have filled out, I don't know how many pieces of paper. And in the moment, she was asking me to fill out one more piece of paper that the court wanted. And of itself, it's fine. It's a very benign form. It's basically my name, my spouse's name, and some relatives who can always reach me, right? And in the moment, I was completely just sad, and tears were coming to my eyes, and I found myself driving, just tears falling down my face. And I was like, where did that come from? I have been doing really well with that grief, right? I have been sitting with it. I'm to that point where most of the time I can think of him or see a picture of him, and it brings a smile or a warm, good feeling to my heart and to my face, right? Because it brings a good memory. It's not always a sad thing for him. And that was the thing that hit me. Grief, even when you're sitting with it and you're working through it and you're giving yourself time to grieve, which is what we all have to do. Grief is not something that we can get around or go over or under. We have to go through grief, and we have to allow ourselves time in that grief to feel those things, to cry those tears. And that includes the joy just as much as the sadness. And I just wanted to say that if you're in the middle of grief and or starting your grief journey, or even closer to feeling like things are getting back to normal for you in grief, and all of a sudden grief comes on and you're sad or you're crying or those hard, intense feelings come back up, it's completely normal. That's part of the grief process. And that can happen, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. My mother died in 2017, and there are things that still bring tears to my eyes or make me sad when I think about the fact that she's not here. But the beautiful thing, beyond thinking about this surprise, right, that is of grief, the very next song that came on the radio was the song Never by Tasha Layton. And there's a lyric in there where it talks about God will never leave you and God will never forsake you. And in grief, when those things come up that hurt or take you by surprise, that's where the hope comes in. That even in that hard moment, even in the sadness, even in the anger, in the whatever emotion comes up, even in the tears, God is there. God is with you, and God never leaves nor forsakes you. I mean, scriptures are full of things and words talking about that God is with us and that God, mends the brokenhearted. And so I just want you to know that if it's a hard time, or if a hard time comes up suddenly, that God's there, God's with you, and God holds you and carries you in those moments. And the other thing I want you to know is that tears are okay. Like if you suddenly find yourself crying driving down the interstate or in your living room or in the grocery store, it's okay. Tears are a sign of love, and tears are a sign that your body and your emotions and the spiritual part of you are grieving a loss of something that was important to you. And so give yourself that time to feel those emotions and to cry those tears if that's what you need to do. And as I was thinking about the fact that despite my knowledge and my experience with grief, just took me by surprise. And I was kind of thinking, what am I doing? Why am I upset about this piece of paper, right? I decided that one thing I want to do is to start a series about what grief is. And then after that, I'm going to do a series about what grief isn't. Because I think sometimes, even if we're in the middle of the journey, knowing that this thing that I'm experiencing, these emotions, these physical effects, the spiritual effects, that these things are normal, it helps. And then also to get some clarification and some, hopefully, encouragement about what grief isn't. Because we tell ourselves what grief should and shouldn't be. And so hearing that grief isn't something maybe will help you know that what you're going through is normal and that it's completely okay for you to experience these things. Remember, your grief is your grief. And while I can tell you what grief is or isn't in the big term or the overarching way, you still experience grief your way. So I would love if on this video, if you want to ask me questions about grief, the things that you've always wondered about what grief is or what grief isn't, and I will do my best to answer them both in the comments and as I go through those two series. Thank you for listening today. If you are struggling in your grief, you feel stuck, I would be happy to walk with you as a trauma-informed grief coach. The link to my website and to get that free 30-minute consultation will be above. Or if you know a group who needs to hear about grief and hope in grief, or identity in grief, or those kind of things, I would love to come speak to your group. That link will be there as well. May you come and see that there is hope, even in grief.